What's up, folks? How's it going? 12 people. Let's wait till we're 20. Okay, and I'm gonna start then. So, Phil Shannon, Ria, Mojito, Dark Lord, Secret Knowledge, George Copa. What's up, King Boss? All right. Um. Yeah, okay. I'm just waiting for other people to join. All right. Yeah. Um. On this live stream, I'm going to talk about what you have to be aware of when it comes to 2021, right? The coming year. Uh, and see, I'm not the type of guy that likes to spread fear or panic for no reason, because I believe any analysis is only as good as the solutions that you get out of it. The rest is just you know blah blah blah. All right. So I'm always about suggestions on how to fix things. I'm always about solutions, right? So what I'm going to give you, what I'm going to talk about, of course, I'm going to give you solutions for, right? Otherwise, there's really no point talking about it, right? All right, 21 people. Good. I can start. Well, first of all, welcome. Good evening, wherever you are. Where I am, which is Germany, we got 4:55 a.m. So almost 5 a.m. Link does not work. What does that mean? Jesus, I saw your video about opening the third eye. You mentioned the free ebook. I tried the link, but it's not working. Bro, this is like fucking 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago. It's funny. Okay, my friend. This is a very old link that is no longer active. Okay. All right. Hello, Frank. Hope you're doing well. And how can we combat this Mercury retrograde negative effects? You're just gonna have to live with it. Combating is really not possible. It's just the natural cycle of things, right? So it's everything. Like everything has up and down cycles. All right. So let me go into what I want to talk about here. First of all, we have the new forum, right? I hope you're all members of the new forum. If not, you should definitely join. Now, it's still in a beta version, but content is being uploaded step by step by step. Okay, exclusive content that you will not find anywhere else. Plus, look, we're gonna have different features such as a dating option. Okay, a dating feature. I know a lot of people were interested in that. I did a poll in my inner circle Facebook group. Okay, a lot of people feel like they wanna have what's the word? Maybe they have in mind that they want to date people that are interested in the same type of topics. All right, so magic, witchcraft, and all of that. You're going to find a dating feature and options on this forum too. Okay. Also exclusive content, of course, the free lectures on money magic, wealth magic, and psychic seduction, love spells. I'm no longer going to post in the Grail of the Serpent in a Circle group. So in order to join those free live calls, in order to watch the replays, you're going to have to get on the forum. Okay, in the forum, I'm going to give you the link here. If you haven't joined the forum yet, do it now. That's my recommendation. Okay, so here's the link for the forum. Also, what's up? Amazing you don't rest. Oh, that's not true. I took a nap today. All right. So, oh yeah, George Copa, by the way, he's got a fight on the 6th, I think. On the 6th. Is that true, George? All right. I think he has a George Copa is a professional fighter. You can look him up on YouTube. Um, anyways, he's got a fight on the 6th, and I hope that everybody in this community does a ritual for him if he's comfortable with that. If not, just say that you don't want that. But what we're also going to do is in this forum, we're going to have the you're going to have the opportunity to request help for different situations from the people in the forum. Okay, so they can come together and help you. Um, you know, why not help each other out, right? So in this forum, there will be a thread where people can ask for help in specific uh, situations. Okay, but nothing small. All right, like I don't want you to abuse this. All right, I want you to to only use this for really important stuff. Okay, and when you come up, I mean, if people come up with really what's that? Well, please put a curse on my ex-husband because I hate him. No, that doesn't go. All right, that shit doesn't work. It's only things that will be helpful to you and others. Not no destructive stuff, no destructive work. I'm cool. Anyone who wants to watch my fight, just let me know. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, we all wish you good luck, of course. So let's talk about 2021. Okay, what do you need to be aware of for the most part? Okay, what do you need to be aware of? 2021, I believe is going to be a little bit better than 2020. Okay, in terms of stability, but look, there's going to be a lot of repression that's gonna take place. Repression in a sense where people are gonna try to interfere with what you do. Okay, we got a massive recession coming. Okay, an economic recession. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I believe, in 2021, one of the main parts of my mission is to help you figure out this game of money in a real way. Okay, and then how to combine that with magic to really make a killing or to really put yourself onto the winner's side, man. Because here's what's going on: most of what you buying silver. No, I'm not buying silver. Most of what see, this is the look. I mean, most of what you hear out there in terms of money magic are just like little spells here and there to attract a bunch of, a little bit of money here and there. Well, first of all, for most people, it doesn't work anyways, right? Because they don't get the real techniques. They just get some weird. Man, I saw this bullshit the other day where this woman was, I don't know, she was acting as if, what was it, a sexual bank account or whatever she called that. All right, so she put a bunch of coins into a glass of water, and then just pretended that this was her uterus, and that uterus would increase the amount of coins, and like the weirdest shit. All right, so listen, this stuff doesn't work. It's bullshit. All right, that's bullshit. What you guys need, that's what I believe. What I want to provide is, first of all, you need solid education on that topic. You need a solid understanding of what's actually going on, an overview, and then from that overview, you will be able to seek out specific opportunities, and then you can use magic to make those opportunities work out for you. Okay, so the first thing that we have to understand is what's going on in an economic sense worldwide. Okay, what's going on there? Well, we had 2020. 2020 COVID, boom, everything was shut down, right? Like everybody's aware of that. Everything was shut down. So because of the because of the special situation, a lot of companies did not have to file for bankruptcy yet. Okay, all of that's going to happen very soon. So a lot of the backlash, a lot of the recession, the bulk of the recession is still gonna happen. Okay, it hasn't happened yet. You might think that the economy is not doing well or it's bad. Well, the bulk of that negativity is still bound to happen. You see what I mean? So 2021, by the way, buying silver would make sense if you had a crash of the currency, but the currency is not going to crash in 2021. Now, first of all, you have to understand that the government is going to start to implement new regulations that will basically um, make them grab for your money. Okay, if you have a little bit saved up, it's not safe anymore. Okay, that's number one. If you don't have any saved up, you're fucked anyways. All right. So there's a situation coming where there will be regulations through taxation, through new laws that are going to be implemented, where the government can access whatever assets you have. All right. So it might be mortgages, okay, forced mortgages on your house or something like that. That's been done in history. Okay. First of all, these laws are not, you don't have to invent these laws. These laws are already part of emergency measures. It has been done in the past. Okay. Speaking of precious metals here, if you remember during the Great Recession, the government just confiscated all the gold out there. Okay. Now, what's going to be excluded from that, of course, are things like jewelry. All right, jewelry, because if 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 that will be the case, every married person would have to hand in their wedding ring. That's not going to happen. But any any kind of gold coins, any kind of like gold bars that people might have, that's going to be confiscated or could be confiscated. Okay, and even if that doesn't happen, okay, forced mortgages might happen. Plus, what about what about inflation? Inflation is stealing your money or your purchasing power. Okay, if you have everything in liquid assets, if you have look, if you are a private person, it's not protected by some sort of a corporate shield. All right. So let's say I don't know. Let's say you have 50 grand, 100 grand saved up or something like that. Okay, very moderate amount of money. Okay, do you think that's safe because it's in a bank? All right, forget about it. All right, this is basically you're basically the low hanging fruit. Okay, the low hanging fruit. The government needs money. Okay, and where is it going to come from? Well, from the first thing that they're going to attack is the low hanging fruit, which is basically unprotected savings. Okay, if you have anything saved up, it's not safe anymore. Okay, and by the way, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. Okay, so don't make decisions based on what I'm telling you here. All right, I gotta throw that out because people are gonna start doing weird things. But what I'm saying is, see, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, the government is in massive trouble. All right, the numbers are all fake. Okay, let me start pulling my money out of my bank and keep cash. Well, that's not a good decision. All right, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, before you make any, listen, I am not a financial advisor. Not a financial advisor. Before you make any decisions, talk to a CPA or something like that. Okay, let me throw that out here. I'm just stating my opinion here, my opinion and the solution to the problems that I'm outlining. I'm not telling you to do what I'm explaining here. All right. I'm just making you aware of certain things. That's it. Okay. Let me make that clear. So the government is in big trouble. All governments all over the world. All right. So they need money, and what they're going to get are the low hanging fruits. All right. So if you have just money saved up somewhere, it's very easy to access that. It's a little bit better if you have that in a corporation, in some sort of a corporate structure, in a limited liability or some other corporation. All right, because then, um, well, it's going to be harder for them to access it. Okay, because there's a legal protection in some way or another. So I promise you, it's gonna come. Okay, we're gonna have money printing. Okay, because the money is gonna come from somewhere. And when you look at history, this stuff has been going on forever. Okay, so when the currency is backed by nothing, it's just gonna be spreading, and too much of it is gonna be out there, and misallocation is gonna happen. Okay, so demand that is forced by the government in some way, in some place, is not going to be backed by um or yeah, it's not going to be backed by supply. All right, so that creates all kinds of imbalances, and that spreads throughout all of the economy. Okay, this is how all uh countries in the past have failed. So I mean, these questions, I'm gonna cover them later, but the point is this. See, the first thing that you have to do is understand that 2021 is going to be a shit year for most people. Okay, it's gonna be a shit year financially. Um, so how do you protect yourself against that? Well, first of all, you need the education. All right, you need the education. First of all, you need an understanding of asset protection. You need to understand what's going on in the markets. All right, and then listen. You can even protect yourself against all of that. But the most important thing is that you have to understand that the outcome of all of this is really in your own personal hands. You can really, you can really determine how all of this is going to go down for you personally. Okay, so let me just see. Um, 1 second. Um, Let me just see if I could give you a better outline of what's actually going on. Okay, so 1 second. We have, God damn it. We have a situation where you have to be, God damn it. 1 second, my screen is frozen. Okay, can you guys still hear me? Everybody hear me? I asked about silver because there's a huge movement to short squeeze silver. This week and destroy JP Morgan. No silver is available for sale in America online. Okay, that's good. That's good. Look. Okay, so can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. All right. So what we're going to find are mortgages. Okay, forced mortgages. You're going to have a problem when you move out of your country, for instance, for reasons like that. Okay, they can tax you just for moving out of your country. They can prevent you from having accounts outside of your country. Okay, let's say your country does things like that. You can't park your money outside of your country. Plus, look, as a U.S. citizen, which most of you are probably, you're taxed globally anyways. Isn't that crazy? If you live in another country, you are taxed by the American government. Why? Why? Can somebody explain that to me? You don't get any of the benefits, none. All right, but just because you have this fucking passport, they think that they can tax you for life. How does that make sense? You see, how does that make sense? And by the way, America, and there's one other country that does that, but there are only two countries in the world that do that. Okay, so the land of the free, right? The land of the free. You can't do shit without the government having a hand in your pocket. Okay, yeah, new regulations that will mess with your freedom to invest. Okay, I mean, somebody was talking about the things that were going on with GameStop, and oh yeah, these guys are partying right now. Look, bro, these people have the bigger dicks. Okay, everybody's happy about that shit. Listen, It's only a matter of time till new regulations are going to be in there, and there's going to be some sort of a regulation about how much you can talk about investing on social media. Okay, who can talk about it? Who like groups like that are of course going to be illegal soon. Okay, just like your Bitcoin stuff, the cryptocurrency bullshit. Look, we're going to have government issued cryptocurrencies very soon. Okay, they're far from anonymous. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Um, you know, negative interest rates. Okay, and in some countries it's already implemented. Negative interest rates means that your deposits are going to be taxed. All right. Um, you know, they're going to send you to jail for a lot of the stuff that is actually protecting your money, right? Um, you're probably going to see regulations in terms of how much foreign currency you can hold. All right. So they're forcing you to use their currency because if they're look, the US dollar is has lost, I don't know, more than 90% of its value since a couple of years back. Okay. So it's the dollar is dying right now. Okay. So what they're most likely are going to do is they're just going to force you to use the dollar, to keep using the dollar. All right, just like the euro. The euro is not doing well either way, and I think the euro is actually going to die before the dollar. All right, but they're going to force you to keep using their currency because they need people that to use it. Right? If it's already very, I mean, it's already without value or almost without value. So if less people trust in it and less people use it, that's going to be a big problem. All right. Um, hold on, what's this? Is it too late to flip the game? I'm going to cover all of those questions later. All right, but the point is this, man. You need to first of all, you need to educate yourself about that topic. Okay, you need to know what's going to happen in 2021, or where what direction we're headed into. Okay, and all of those regulations that I just gave you are just a fraction of what they're going to implement. And then you got to see how you can protect the assets that you might have. Maybe you have, I don't know, maybe you have a house. Do you want a forced mortgage in there? They can do that. You know, now that you got a lot of socialists in government, they can definitely do that. All right, they're gonna find a way, and they're gonna speak of solidarity and helping the helping society, but at the end of the day, it's the government that messed it up. Okay, in the beginning, when the economy is strong, government comes in and they live above their means, meaning they spend more than there is. So they do that by going into debt. Okay. And they get the country indebted. So more and more interest rates need to be paid, and that is being paid with printing more money. So in order to pay their debt, they print more money, and that's a vicious cycle that sooner or later kills the currency, right? So that we're on the verge of making that happen, and with this major recession about to happen, think about it, everything's fucking dead. All the fucking stores out there are dead. The restaurants are dead. All right. So what do you think is going to happen? All of that impact is it hasn't happened yet. Okay, we haven't seen it yet, but so much of that is still waiting to happen in 2021. So what you need to do is you need to first of all have a solid understanding of what is actually going to happen, okay? Because the solution will come from understanding the specific steps that governments will take. All right. Look, if you want to not just protect yourself against what's going to happen, but even benefit from that and put yourself into a winner position, you need to do a couple of things. You need to understand investment, you need to understand leverage, and you need to understand asset protection. Those three things. Okay. Once again, you need to understand how to invest. You need to understand leverage, and you need to understand asset protection. Okay, those are the three things, and when you understand those three, you can thrive in any market. Okay, and the market that we're going, look, somebody was talking about shorting stocks. Okay, shorting stocks is essentially when you benefit because the stock is going down, right? So you sell it. Um, you sell it at a basically you have bought the right to sell it at a later point, and at that later point, you assume that the price will be lower. So you make a benefit, or I mean, you make a profit because you're only paying a lower price and you sell it at a higher price. So the difference between that is going to be your profit, right? That's short selling. Maybe it sounds more complicated than it is, but it's really not complicated. But the point is, listen, short selling would be one thing, but look, we still live, and we're going to live in, for the next couple of years. They're not going to change that. We live at almost 0% interest. Okay, 0% interest. So with the money that's lying in your bank, you get 0%. All right, you get 0% for the money that you have lying around in your bank account. All right. But the good thing is loans are also at a very low level. All right. So, and by the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do. In fact, I'm telling you not to do what I'm telling you right now, because I don't want some crazy person to go out tomorrow and try this. Okay, you need solid education in order to do this. But I'm trying to show you some options here. You need educations. You need education. You need a lawyer to do this. You need a certain corporate structure and all of that stuff. Right. But the point is, what you can do is theoretically, and a lot of people do that, okay, and those people have these things in place that I just mentioned. Okay, but you let's say you have 1 million in capital. You take that million and go to the bank and tell them, give me 9 million as a loan, right? And let's say you pay nine. Let's say you pay 1%. You pay 1% in interest for that 9 million that you just got from the bank. Okay, you pay 1% interest. All right, but you invest the whole 10 million now, because you had 1 million of your own capital and 9 million from the bank. So you take those entire 10 million and invest it into bonds that are basically guaranteed to give you, let's say, 5%. Chinese bonds will still give you 5% because the economy is growing at 5%, right? So you make 500 grand profit that year on those 10 million, 5%, right? And then you pay 1% of 9 million in interest. Okay, so you got costs of 90 grand. But to make it easy, you have costs of 100 grand. All right, so 500,000 minus your costs, 500,000 profit minus your cost of 400,000. I'm sorry, 100,000. You make a profit of 400,000. Okay, your capital was 1 million. Okay, so your return on investment is going to be 40%. Okay, 40%. And when you have the right corporate structure, that's not going to be taxed. That's going to be taxed at, let's say, 1.5%. In a holding structure, you can have it taxed at 1.5%. Whereas an employee, what do you think your salary is taxed at? How much? How much is what's the tax rate on your salary? So it's more than 30%. Okay, so you on your salary you tax 30%. Somebody that does investments like that gets taxed at 1.5 if they're really smart, if they have good, uh, what's the word? If they have good advisors, they probably pay 0%. Okay, probably zero, or they get money back. You know, that a lot of corporations, they get paid money by the government. Okay, they don't pay taxes. They tax the government so that they stay there. Okay, because they use all kinds of government incentives and whatever. But all of these things become accessible to you. All of these things become accessible to you when you have the right education, when you have the right legal structures, and much more. Okay, now see, any crisis in 2021 is going to bring a crisis. Okay, it's not going to be a health crisis. It's not going to be a social crisis and all this other stuff like 2021. But It's gonna be an economic crisis, okay? And bro, I promise you, this shit you're gonna see have an impact over decades. All right, we're never gonna. I mean, for the next 30 years, we're not gonna go back to normal. All right, there's still gonna be a lot of deregulation, but look, what you have to understand is that in these crises, there's always a redistribution of the money. Okay, and that usually means from those that already have, or those that already have something get something. Okay, what's the difference between those people that already have something? Yeah, capital, but they also position themselves right. You see what I mean? So what you need to do ideally is, in this year, you need to start increasing your cash flow. Okay, you need to understand how to first of all make more. Okay, make more capital, and then you need to know what to do with that capital. Okay, listen, if you have the right legal structure, you can do what I just described. Okay, a 40% investment. Okay, and then you keep that principle, and you do it again next year, and you do it again and again and again and again. And the money that you make in the meantime, you also put into those types of investments. Okay, so what I'm saying is, the first thing that you have to understand is how to make more, how to generate more, how to attract more of that stuff. Okay, and then look, then money magic becomes really powerful. You see what I mean? I'm not a fan, and let's bring it back to magic here. I'm not a fan of these little spells where you attract $50, $100. I don't know. What are you gonna do with that shit? Buy a sandwich and a soda? What are you gonna do with $50? Seriously, what is that? Well, what can you buy with $50 these days? And when you do like a little spell here and there, um, I mean, what are you really gonna attract with that? So, see, the real game is this. You have to first of all understand how this game works, all right? And then you create the right infrastructure. You create your own infrastructure. And then you use money magic to move things into the direction that you want. And when you have the right infrastructure like that, the spells that you do will be much more potent, you see, because you're basically using leverage. Look, the point is this: the real way to go about this, and to the real way, the real potential of money magic is not just these little pathetic spells of, oh, I just fired up a sigil with a clown neck, and I hope he's going to get me this job, or I hope he's going to get me this raise, or whatever people think money magic is. Money magic is a completely different game. Okay, and it starts with it starts with understanding this game first. Okay, and then you use spirits or magic or whatever to increase the potential of it all right. So first of all, understand how to create cash flow. How do you attract money into your life in the first place? How do you make that happen? All right, see, the first thing that you need to stop doing, and I'm sure you heard of that, is, but you have to stop trading your time for money. You can't trade your time for money and expect anything out of the ordinary, because you only got 24 hours. That puts a natural cap on however much you're being paid. Even if you made $1,000 an hour, it's still only 24 grand a day. All right. So what you have to figure out is how to create cash flow or cash flow streams that bring you that on a consistent basis without too much effort on your part. So what you're going to do is you're going to build up one income stream, and then you're going to move on to the next one, and that income stream is working, and then you're going to build another one up, and that works, and this is the first thing that you need to understand. You see, also, see, um, what is what is lacking there, what is lacking there with building up these income streams, for instance, or building your own business. Most people cannot do that. Why? Because they don't have the understanding of how you need to structure your life, how you need to structure your own day in order to make that happen. For instance, most people don't understand what it means to be focused. You can only be productive if you're in a flow state. That's the first thing. All right. That's the very first thing. But if, let's say, you spend your day with your phone on alert, okay, and you have all these notifications constantly, bing, 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 all of that shit, it's gonna kick you out of your flow constantly. You're not gonna be able to get work done if you're constantly distracted by notifications. All right. So you got a notification every 10 minutes. Here's what's going to happen. It takes, when you're kicked out of your flow by a message that you read or something like that. When you're kicked out of your flow state, it takes you 17 minutes to get back and get back on track. All right. And you will have only 5-6 hours max productively a day. All right. You will have 5-6 hours a day maximum that you can really be productive, meaning work on something, and if you have a job or something like that, it's even harder because you're going to be exhausted from working. So look, time is of the essence for you. All right. If you don't prepare yourself right now, I promise you, you're going to be one of the losers of this situation. You're going to lose out. So the option that you have is either you figure out what's going on and prepare yourself and position yourself in the right way, or you're going to be you know what's that? What's that called? You know what I mean? Like this situation is not being communicated to a lot of people. Very few people are actually aware of what's going on. All right. If you think that the impact of the economic impact has happened already, it did not happen. Plus, there's probably a war in the coming soon. Okay, which means that, well, that war is actually economic stimulus plans, especially for America. America fights wars in order to finance itself. Right, the military-industrial complex is dependent on money. I mean, dependent on wars. Okay, that's demand. You see, weapon production can only happen if there's a war somewhere. Okay, so that's also why we have so many wars all around the globe. You know, I promise you. I mean, there are a bunch of big weapon producers. Okay, the U.S. is one. Germany is right up there. I think Germany is number 3, which is kind of crazy when you think of the size of Germany. Germany is not that big of a country, but it's number 3 when it comes to weapon exports. All right, so these lobbyists, of course, control government and control politics. All right, so they want wars all over the world because that's cash flow. That's revenue. That's business. So wars are being created all over the globe, right? In a lot of ways. But the point is, 2021 is not going to be pretty. Okay, so think about how you can position yourself in the right way. Think about where you can get the right education, and first of all, here's the blueprint. Here's how you can benefit from it. Okay, because look, in any situation, whether it's the Great Depression, study a little bit of history. Okay, during the Great Depression, things were harsh. Okay, a lot of people were in trouble, but very few individuals benefited from this whole situation. By the way, let's talk about boom bust cycles. Okay, which are the cause of a depression. Okay, they're not random. Okay, they're not random. I mean, during the Great Depression, for instance. Okay, during the Great Depression. And in the Great Depression, by the way, I think the stock market dropped by 70 or 80% in one day or something like that. Okay, it was a massive drop, and it didn't recover for a long time. But shortly before that, some big bankers like J.P. Morgan, and others, I think Ford was part of those guys too. Vanderbilt and all of these guys, the rubber barons. I think. No, not the rubber. Sorry, but I mean the big bankers. Shortly, I think a week before for this big crash, they sold um, they sold a lot of their stocks and positioned themselves in gold. Okay, and we all know that when when the stock market goes down, the price of gold increases. Okay, so they knew what was going to happen. It's not that just that they knew; they caused it to happen intentionally. Okay, so the central banks call the shots. The central banks, based on the amount of money that they allow in the market, determine if there's a depression or a boom. Okay, so all they need to do in order to cause the next boom is they need to not extend some loans. They need to call in some loans and stop the money printing and stop issuing new currency. And boom, you got a depression. Very easy. Very easy to do. Okay. So all of these things are, of course, planned. Okay. There's very little random things happening there. So there will be people that benefit from all of this, of course. Okay. And the question is, how can you put yourself into the position where you benefit from all of that? Can you do that? Is there an option to do that? Yes, you need to. First of all, you need to this year you need to build up your cash flow. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to figure out how to increase your income, which is not that hard to do. Then you need to know how to protect that money that you just made. Okay, because like I said, in a the debt will always be public publicized, if that makes sense. The debt will always be paid by the normal people, by the employees, by the taxpayers. By the way, there's a in the tax code, and this is globally the same thing. Okay, in the tax code, um, consumption is always taxed at a higher rate than investments. All right, and the government assumes that as an employee, you're consuming all of your income. That means you're taxed at 30%, 40%, okay? Depends on the country that you're in. You're taxed at a very high rate, okay? So your income is taxed at a very high rate. Corporations are not taxed at that rate. Corporations can use all kinds of things to not pay any taxes, okay? So um, it is you that is paying everything. It is your work that is paying for everything. But you're not benefiting from it, right? Why is that? Well, so you increase your income and then you have to figure out how to protect it. All right. And then you have to figure out, ideally, after protecting it, ideally um, you have to figure out um, how to make more of it, or how to position yourself in the right places, so that you will benefit from the developments in the future. Okay, so those are the three things that you have to figure out. Now, in all of these situations, you can use money magic or magic witchcraft to increase what's happening. Okay, but if you just like a chicken with its head cut off, not knowing what's going on, the bigger picture, you're just doing spells here and there to manifest $100 here and there, or I don't know, you got your rent to pay, and you do a spell to so that your grandmother sends you money. Listen, money is energy, okay, and there's a lot of this energy out there floating around, but you don't have the right vehicles to attract that money or to allow that money to come to you. That's fucked up. It's much better if you have all kinds of vehicles all around you set in place that are like vacuums, okay, vacuum cleaners. And then you use magic, and magic will be the metaphorical button that you push, and zoom, they all start working and attracting that stuff. Okay. So that's the first thing, because look, the greatest amount of knowledge is worthless if you don't have assets or money to back to back it up with something. I mean, what use is there if you know all of this stuff but you can't use it? It's frustrating. You see what I mean? So what you need to do right now is you need to first learn about this stuff and then use magic. Okay. So I know that's probably not what you expected me talking about. All right. Because when people talk about money magic, like I said, it's usually this kindergarten bullshit, like this bitch with her fucking glass and then some coins inside of the glass and pretending that's her uterus and growing the coins inside of a universe. Like, this is the fucking stuff that people do. You see what I mean? When in reality, the power of this whole thing comes into play if you build up a system and then fuel that system with the power that is magic. Okay, so that's how you ideally would do it. So what I'm doing is, like, of course, in the free lectures, I'm going to educate you on all of that stuff. But what I want to do is create a clear solution for a lot of people. You know? Create a clear blueprint that a lot of people can follow. All right, and most of the stuff is going to be free anyway. So, but that's only for my community. Okay, listen, the forum of the Grail of the Serpent is for my people, for my community. This is my empire. And listen, people that join my empire, I want to be as powerful as they can be. And part of power in this world is resources. You need to have, at least you need to do well enough so that you don't have to worry about that stuff. Okay, that is part of the game. We have to figure that out. The people of the Grail of the Serpent, my people, have to be different than all these other fucking losers. Okay, I can't stand these other fucking groups. See, I said it many, many times. I don't want to be a member of this occult community, because for the most part, they're fucking douchebags and losers, fucking freaks. All right, let's be honest. But I'm different. Okay, I actually make shit happen. I get shit done, and I want the people that are ready or willing to join me in my empire, to join my empire here, the Grail of the Serpent. I want those people to be as powerful as they can, because that reflects back on me. You see what I mean? The better you do, the better that will reflect back on me. So I want all of you that listen to me, all of you that respect my opinion, all of you that listen to my teachings, I want you to do as good as you can. You see, and that's why I'm going to give you so much free stuff that is incredibly empowering, so that you will be the kings and queens amongst those other fuckers. All right, and it's going to be a totally different ballgame. The Grail of the Serpent is completely different than all this other stuff. Those are like real, what's the word? Real winners. I want winners. I don't want losers. All right, and I mean that. Okay, we're not a charity. Okay, like, we help each other, of course, but we're not a place for the broken and the fucking weird. Okay, because look, so like I said, in the forum, on these lectures that I'm going to do on money magic, and love spells and psychic seduction, you're going to get a lot of the stuff completely for free, life changing information. So if you haven't joined the forum yet, you're fucking missing out. You're just missing out so bad. Okay, you're just fucking yourself by doing that. So once again, I'm posting the link here. You should join. Okay, if you didn't join yet, you messed up, and I urge you to fix that. Okay, it's in your own best interest. I wanted to know how to get notifications from the Grail of the Serpent site to pop up on my phone's notification window. I don't know. Hold on. Oh, there are some more questions up there. Are you talking about an app for the Grail of the Serpent? Yeah, maybe I can make that happen. We'll see. I have an exam today. Will putting 3 candles besides 3-sided road help me to pass the exam? You can try, but you have to know. You have to let Eregua know that you want that. Okay, but I wouldn't bet too much on it. Let me start pulling my money out of my bank and keep cash. Well, not a good idea either. Okay? Not a good idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm appearing for chartered accountancy exams today. Okay. Do you think getting a passport is a good idea? Well, look, as long as you got your American citizenship, they will tax you wherever you go on this planet. I promise you. Seriously. Like, I'm probably like, seriously, that's a big problem for a lot of Americans, actually. Okay. Americans that have been financially successful, especially if they live in certain states, and they want to save taxes. A lot of people are having problems because they can't be taxed wherever they go. Can be taxed wherever they go. Even if you don't, like, you're not using any of the American infrastructure. You're not using any of the services of the government. Like, who owns who at that point? Like, it's is the government for the people, or to me it sounds like they own you at that point, right? So the land of the free, right? The land of the free and the home of the enslaved. That's sorry. That's a Tupac quote, by the way. That's Tupac. Land of, no, not Tupac. There's a song, "Life is a Traffic Jam," and it's some chick featuring Tupac, and she says, "Land of the free and the home of the enslaved." All right. Do you think getting a passport or whatever? Okay, so having a house paid off or a mortgage would be safe? Well, look, forced mortgage means it's a forced mortgage. I can do that. Listen, look, let's say a government doesn't get a lot of money in the capital markets anymore. Okay, and what does that mean? Look, all governments are indebted to other countries, right? So what if other countries don't believe that country anymore, that they're going to get their money back? Well, they got to give them some sort of a security, right? So in this case, they're going to be like, okay, our debts are guaranteed by millions of private house owners, private property owners. Okay, so if worse comes to worse, we just confiscate their property, and then we're going to pay off our debt with that. I'm serious. That shit is real. Okay. And it's not that that hasn't happened in the past. That gold has been confiscated in the past, in the 1930s. I think the last time in the U.S. And that's, look. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen again. Okay, because we're not far away from hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is very likely. All right, but before that, we're going to have a deflation, stagflation. Best case scenario is what's been happening in Japan for 30 years, which is a sclerosis. Is basically um, no real growth. Okay, people in Japan work until they fucking drop dead. Okay, there's no retirement, none of that, and they don't have people, being born. They have very very few compared to the old people. There are very few young people, and like little innovation. Japan is not what it used to be in the 80s. So. Um, Okay, I asked about silver because there is a huge movement to short squeeze silver this week and destroy JP Morgan. Destroy JP Morgan. That's good. No, silver is available for sale in America online. Well, I know that the a Reddit thing worked once, and well, look, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, they're not just banks. They own the government. Okay. And I'm using those like as surrogates for all like big financial institutions, big hedge funds, you know, BlackRock, institutional investors, the thing, the institutions that have a lot of capital behind them. They own governments. Okay. Politicians are just actors. And that includes Donald Trump, that includes Joe Biden, that includes everybody. They're just actors. They're actors. They sell you what has been decided by these big institutions. You see, so BlackRock and all of that. Are you? Look, they are not going to let this happen for long. Maybe this stuff is going to happen with the short squeeze, but you're going to see some regulations being implemented where all of this shit is going to shut down real quick. Real quick. If you own the media, if you own politics, you can force regulations to happen very quickly, okay? And especially if you fuck with their money, then it's over. All right. So what they're going to come up, they're going to come up with some trumped up charges. The organizers of this thing are going to probably be incarcerated. They're going to be jailed, fined, and yeah, it's going to be very hard to organize yourself like that again. Plus, think about it. They're probably going to look. Put yourself into the position of a government like that, or a secret service or whatever, right? First of all, you have surveillance over everything, pretty much. All right, you can surveil everything, and AI is extremely advanced. They can find out pretty much anything. Plus, if you really wanted to survey the communication of people that are planning something against you, here's what I would do. I would probably, you know, uh, create a front. Okay, so some sort of a company or some sort of a what's that word? Some sort of an innovative app. Okay, and that app would be about private communication. So I would come up with something, okay, some technical detail that makes everybody believe that, wow, on this app you can truly communicate in a private manner, right? Of course, it's bullshit because I'm going to see everything that's been communicated there, but who's going to come into that app? Who's going to get that app? Well, the people that don't want to have their communication seen. All right. So you basically build a mousetrap. All of the people come in there and they start talking. They start talking their shit. And all you got to do is basically just watch the communication amongst those people, which are going to be people that want to take over the Capitol, QAnon threads, and all this other stuff. People that want to short squeeze another asset, and you you got a mousetrap. People are giving you exactly what you wanted, and you got all the information. You track their IP addresses, and then boom, boom, boom. FBI, please open the door. Well, they're not going to say please. They're just they're going to kick it in, right? So look, I just people are fucking naive. Seriously, I like sometimes the same thing with that Bitcoin. Everybody who believes that story, I urge you to seriously overthink that again, man. Do you think uh, they let? Come on. The story is this guy Nakamoto or Hatoshi or whatever his name was. I don't know. Um, Supposedly created the algorithm for Bitcoin all by himself, right? And he doesn't want to be known, which makes a lot of sense, right? Who wants to be a trillionaire for creating an invention that wants to be a trillionaire? They they say that guy doesn't want to be known and he doesn't want any equity in Bitcoin. You invent the currency, you don't want any equity in that currency, right? So he's anonymous, he doesn't exist, or he doesn't want to be known, he doesn't want any of the profits, any of the equity in Bitcoin. Plus, it's one person. Like, what are the odds that one person can write that code all by himself? Probably on their lunch break, right? And then, look, they honestly think that Bitcoin is going to replace government issued currencies. Money is the power vehicle for all governments. Do you think they're going to let that take you away? Do you think they're going to let you take that away, the power base? Of course not. Okay. So Bitcoin, it's probably much more likely if Bitcoin has been launched by the CIA or FBI to get people used to the idea of cryptocurrencies. And look, the French president of cryptocurrency, government issues. In the meantime, Bitcoin is going to become illegal. All right. And then that's it. Ethereum, all cryptocurrencies issued by a government are going to be illegal. Russia, I think, already has made Bitcoin illegal. All right. Bitcoin is to date, it's illegal in Russia. I think people are just very naive because, like I said, if you fuck with people's money, it's no joke. Okay. So Governments are not going to let you take that away. It's not going to happen. All right. Is it too late to flip the game and give regular people the power to govern? Look, um, one thing that I believe is true. One thing that I've learned in my look, I'm very young. Let's be honest. Okay, I'm 36 years old. What the fuck? Like, how much do I have really experienced? Okay, sometimes I talk like I'm 90 years old or something like that. Right, I'm 100, 300 years old. But look, I believe that human nature doesn't change. Okay, there's this man or this guy called Will Durant. Okay, Will Durant was a was a scholar, philosopher, and he spent his entire life studying history. And there's this great book. It's called The Story of or the Lessons of History. The Lessons of History. Okay, and he goes and he proves it with civilizations from the past 500 years, 5,000 years. You could go further back, to the Sumerians and even further, and you will see the same pattern. The cycles are always the same. Okay, there's a overlaying pattern of how things work in society and amongst humanity, and that is why now here's where occult knowledge comes in. That is why because the universe is guided or ruled by occult laws. Okay, such as the law of three, the law of seven, the law of resonance, the law of as above, so below, and all of these things. All of these occult principles are superior to everything that happens in politics and so on and so forth. Okay, so even the stock market, you can determine what's going to happen in the stock market looking at the law of resonance, the law of seven, for instance. Look at the Gann theory, WDN. Okay, that's the best investor in history. Okay, way older than or way before Warren Buffett, but better than Warren Buffett, sure. Okay? And that guy was basing his trades completely on numerology, gematria, and astrology, occult sciences. All right. So, and you know what they say: millionaires don't use astrology, but billionaires do. All right, in the stock market, and there's definitely something to that. But where was I? When you look back in history, the last 5,000 years, he said that human nature is the same; it's not going to change. And then there's this philosopher called Hegel. He said that if there's one lesson from history is that people don't learn from history. People don't learn from history, and they never apply the lessons that should have been learned from history. And that is it's just a fact. Come on, let's be honest. Right? So every generation thinks they're the smartest. All right. When there are these I think 4,000-year-old or 3,000-year-old ancient Greek stone tablets. All right. I think they served as, I don't know, news or something like that. But anyways, what was carved into those stone tablets was the youth has lost its way. They're lazy. They don't have courage anymore, and real men don't exist anymore. Or something like that. This, like 3,000 years ago. Are you kidding me? 3,000 years ago, they were saying the same shit as we are saying these days. I catch myself sometimes saying that. Like, oh man, these younger people. I'm 36 now. I start talking about the young people, right? The 15, 16-year-olds that I interact with from time to time. It's rare, but when I when I interact with a 15, 16-year-old kid these days, I'm like, oh, but what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I was not like you. I probably was, but in my mind, I'm not like him, not at all. Like he's a little bitch. Like what the fuck's wrong with you, right? But apparently 3,000 years ago, they were thinking the same thing. So what I'm saying is human nature does not change, and history is determined by cycles. History is not a linear thing. That's an invention of the ancient Greeks. Okay, some philosophers in ancient Greece came up with a linear concept of time where the belief the belief that we have is originated in that where am I frozen? The belief that we're constantly progressing into a better and better future is a philosophical concept that comes from ancient Greece. Other cultures and you know even cultures today have more of a cyclical understanding of time, which means that time is ruled by cycles, and these cycles have different energetic qualities, and based on that, the developments in society and humanity and all of that are determined by it. Okay, it's more like an astrological view on life, and I think that's way more accurate than thinking in linear terms. So coming back to your question, is it too late to flip the game and give regular people the power to govern? My friend, that's never existed. It's never been that's never been in place. This is a utopia. Has never existed. Look, democracy supposedly gave the power to people, but I tell you where democracy comes from. Before the democracy in let's say right around, I don't know, say 16th century, 16th, 17th centuries, or let's go even back further back. Okay, democracy was also invented in ancient Greece. Okay, in Athens to be exact. Okay, and even then, women couldn't vote. Okay, the peasants couldn't vote. Essentially, the only people that could vote were men with property. Those are the people that could vote, and that's what they called democracy. Okay, so it's very different from our understanding of democracy. So democracy, in a sense that you understand it, probably has never existed. Probably has never existed. You see, so the power in the hands of the people has never existed. It was always sometimes more open, sometimes more more hidden, but it was always the few govern the many, right? And the same is going on these days. I mean, nowadays it's a little bit more sophisticated. I believe they will not tell you to your face that as a normal citizen you don't have anything to say. All right, look at how regulations are made. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, but when you look at the legislations that have been made over the last 30 years, and you look at the opinion of the majority of people, there's almost no correlation, which means that the opinions of the masses have no influence on what regulations and what laws are actually going to be implemented. And I tell you where 100%, almost 100% of the interest and the legislations and laws are congruent. Okay, meaning each and every law that has been passed was in the best interest and demanded and you know brought into the discussion by the 1%, by those that had resources. Okay, those that have resources control the game. Okay, you know what they say, those that control the gold make the rules or make the laws. There's a saying, and that's the truth. Okay, because somebody's paying the politicians their wages. Isn't that the case, right? So I don't think that has ever existed. Any revolution is orchestrated, right? Any revolution is orchestrated. Both sides of the revolution or about both sides of the war are financed by the same bank or by the same you know um, financial institutions. I don't know. It used to be the Rothschilds. I don't know to what extent they're still in the game. But I mean, this is not real. Democracy is not real. Never been real. And I don't even know that if that's human nature. Democracy, I don't know. What resources sites would you recommend for a complete beginner when it comes to learning about investing passive income? Investopedia, completely for free. Investopedia. The first thing that you need is a network in your head, man. The first thing that you need is you need to learn certain terms and understand how the economy works. Okay, so Okay, Principles of Economics by Mankiw. All right, Mankiw, Principles of Economics. Principles of Economics, and Investopedia. Just go through that free. It's essentially like Wikipedia, but just for the topic of investing in money and all that. Okay, so literally everyone is applying to work at Walmart or some form of retail because it's pretty much the only job that you can get currently. Yeah, did they already lower the wages? So if there's so much if there's so much demand, they're probably gonna lower what they're gonna pay you. So is that how long is that gonna stay there? Walmart is just gonna eat everything, isn't it? All right. What direction do you think the stock market will go as all of this happening in 2021? Well, okay, good question. Well, first of all, we have to separate the stock market from the real economy, because here's what happens. Do you remember what I was talking about earlier with these investments where you can make 40% per year? By the way, 40% is even low. You can make 60, 70, 80% sometimes, right? And this is how for the last 10 years, the people with access to the capital have been increasing their net worth by 700, 800%. Okay. But so the money that's being printed, all right, QE, I'm sure you heard about that, quantitative easing. It's essentially just money printing to keep the economy going. Okay. And that money is being sucked up before it reaches you. Okay. I don't know. There was this joke that they did. What was that? I think the Trump administration. How much did they give you? A $600 check or something like that. That was supposed to be a stimulus, right? $600. These fuckers, right? I mean, this is like, when you think about it, it's actually really offensive. It's really offensive because you know what they were doing at the top? They were printing trillions of dollars, right? And these trillions were being sucked up by institutional investors, by high net worth individuals. All right. The closer you are to the money, the more of it you're going to be getting. So what they did was they they did this game. They played this game that I just explained to you. All right. So there was a lot of free money. All right. Almost 0% interest rate. So they get charged 1% on a loan. So they get a loan of 10 million or 100 million. Okay. They put up a little bit of capital of their own. Let's say 2 million, 5 million of their own money. They get 10 or 50 million. It doesn't matter. They're like trillions were printed. Okay. So a million or 50, 100 million is nothing. So let's say you're in that position, you get that money and then you invest it and make 40%, 80% per year. But none of that reaches the bottom. Okay. So the stock market is reflection of that money printing, because the more money you have in the system, the more liquidity you have, the higher the stock market goes. And so the stock market is going to do well for a very long time. Actually, I believe that 2021 is still going to be good for the stock market. There will be a crash eventually. That's true. But the stock market is not going to show that as fast. But the real economy is going to suffer. The real economy, the people are going to suffer. You see. So, so I believe the stock market is going to stay up for a while. Okay, it's going to stay up still because there's still a lot of money in fluctuation. And look, when you look at the S&P 500, which are basically the 500, the companies with the biggest market capitalization, the 500 biggest in the at least in the U.S., right? 40% of the entire market capitalization is just 7 companies, I think. Okay, think about it. 40% of the entire market capitalization. What is market capitalization? Market cap is the abbreviation. Okay, market cap just means stock price times stock number of stocks. Okay, so stock price multiplied with the number of stocks out there. Okay, so for the sake of this example, you have a stock price of $100 and you have a million shares out there. So the market capitalization would be 100 million, which is very small, but that's how it works. Okay, so 40% of 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 the entire S&P 500 market cap comes from, I think, 7 companies. Amongst those is Amazon, Facebook, and then big tech, generally speaking, Apple. So most of the companies aren't even doing that well. But those big tech companies are doing extremely well, so they're pulling everything up. So it gives you the illusion of the stock market doing well. Isn't that what Donald Trump was tweeting? The stock market is doing amazing thanks to me. And some of his followers were even retweeting that. Like, the stock market is doing amazing. Yeah, I work at Walmart, but the stock market is doing well. Awesome, right? It's funny, man. It's really funny. Okay. What's this? Well, Walmart boosts their earning wage. I know because to stop working their ass off 2 months ago. Yes, it was the best job for the COVID. Okay. What do you? Okay, that's nice. Cool. How much? How much did they increase it? That's nice that they did that. It's just a question how much it's gonna do. All right. Peace. What's up, Capricorn? All right. I mean, my first money spell started with 2000, and in 2 to 3 weeks, it manifested by my own will. But the opportunity was definitely showing opportunity, and I had to bust my ass for it. Yeah, but 2 to 3K. Listen, okay, that's hey, I congratulate you. It's great, well done. Okay, but you got to think bigger, my friend. You got to think bigger. 3K. What is that? How you see what I mean? It's not that much. I mean, I'm happy for you that you made a spell happen like that, but think bigger. Okay, you're on the Grail of the Serpent. You got to think big. Okay, we're thinking big terms. Okay, and this we try to dominate the game. See, we're not just trying to get breadcrumbs from the big table. We try to really position ourselves in a way where we do it like the big boys. Okay, the big boys. Thank you for keeping it real. Okay, thanks. All right, new year, new money. Thank you. Oh yeah, I joined it. Could do that. Yes, please. I get email notifications from the forum. Just make sure it's enabled on your phone. Oh, that's what that person was talking about? I thought they were talking about an app, but they meant email notifications. Okay, yeah, I get email notifications on the forum too. Maybe it's going into your spam folder, right? I'm signed on Magic Mentor, but I have no access to my account. Okay, send a message to the customer service. Okay, go on to the Grail of the Serpent website and go to contact us. And there you can send a message, an email. All right. Can I petition Loa without being initiated? You can work with them, you can make yourself known, but I don't think there's a guarantee that they will appear or listen to you. If you get citizenship in another country, I believe they stop, and they tax the first 100,000, I believe. That's not true. They tax you for everything, and yeah, if you get citizenship in another country, of course, but you got to get rid of your American citizenship. If you got dual citizenship, you're still being taxed. All right. So as long as you got an American citizenship, you're being taxed by America, no matter where you live. And while you're right, just reading your gold could be confiscated, warns E.B. Tucker. Yeah. They started infiltrating the Reddit group with bots to confuse people. Okay, absolutely true. Okay, hey Frank, love this stream. Tremendous value. Question: could you find out from the spirit precisely who invented Bitcoin? Was it CIA, FBI, etc.? If not, what are the limits of what we can find out? Yeah, you can find that out. Absolutely. Yeah. But what are you going to do with that information? What are you going to do with that information? What was the name of that investor? Of which one? Which one? Very true. Those young people, dag nabbit whippersnipper. Exactly. But gosh darn it. What was that? Gosh darn it. Democrats, slaves couldn't, I think. Yeah, slaves, of course, couldn't vote either. Hi, Frank. Thank you so much for this information. Is there a chance you'll post the occult laws in a pinned post in the forum so we won't forget? The occult laws? That would be some extra work. I would have to find somebody who's willing to create white papers for each lecture that I do. Look, my time is really, really limited. All right. And so it would be a good idea to have like white papers, which are basically just a summary of the lecture with the most important stuff under each class. If somebody's willing to do that, hey, I'm definitely open for that. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I don't have the time for that. And yeah, I have an assistant, but he's already very busy, and I can't give him too much of a workload either. Okay, so um, if somebody's willing to do that, and I can trust you because trust goes before anything. Listen, to me, the person's values are more important than anything. Okay, I got to trust the person. And if I trust them, absolutely. So if any of you wants to do that, okay, do create white papers from the lessons, and the person must. I got to trust them. They must be reliable, and they must be what's the word? Um, they must be a hard worker. Okay. If you got these qualities and you wanna help, if you think you're the right person for that, you're welcome. You can contact me. All right. So no, you're good. Democrats. All right. What's this? We have always had it this far. This means it's a ripe time for it to occur, possibly. Natural. Man, this chat is always jumping when somebody texts something, so I can't even finish these fucking things here. Okay, we have always had it this way. Yes, this means it's a ripe time for it to occur, possibly. Natural law over common law, I think, is the first step towards us ruling ourselves rather than them over us. Okay. It's because they're content to work for someone else rather than all of us deciding to work for ourselves. Listen, I really look. I share your vision, and I feel look. I empathize with that. But look, let's be honest. Realistic. Let's be realistic. Okay. You're talking about people governing themselves. People governing themselves. Okay. First of all, you got to understand that people self control. Most people self control is not even big enough to control what they put into their mouths when it comes to food. Let's be honest. Everybody knows what it means to eat healthy. How many people do that? Right? Look at the statistics. We got 60 to 70% of all people are either severe, overweight or obese. Okay, pre-diabetic and all of that stuff. So they're killing themselves with the food, but they can't stop. So you're telling me. So what I'm saying is self-control is, I think, required in order to self-govern. That's number one. Number two, why do we live better than people 700 years ago or 1,000 years ago? Why do we live better than them? By the way, you live better than a king thousands of years ago. Okay. You have better communication measures. You have better communication, better technology, better healthcare in a lot of cases than a president 20 years ago. I'm serious. You have better communication measures than a president 20 years ago. In the year 2000s, well, who was the president back then? Year 2000s, either Bill Clinton or George Bush. Maybe George Bush was being elected back then, right? But he didn't have the bandwidth of the internet that you have right now. Okay, communication for them was much harder. You have better communication than a president back then. Why is that? Because we have a specialized economy. What they noticed at one point is it's better if people specialize in something. Okay, meaning if you have a farmer that has to do everything and another farmer that has to do everything, that's very inefficient because they can only do all the things or the individual tasks so good. So what they came up with was specialization. So you have specialized people. So people specialize in specific tasks. Tailors. The tailor only works with clothes. Okay. Now, then you got the person that only works with corn. Okay, only produces corn. Then you got another person that only does nursery. All right. You got another person that is completely focused on medicine. And you got another person that's completely focused on research and all of that stuff. Okay. So specialization allowed us to have to have a much better exchange and a much more efficient economy, because when you specialize, you also develop ways on how to produce better. Okay. You develop better methods of production. You become better at it as you specialize. You see what I mean? The living standards of a society are determined by the amount of goods and services that are being produced. Okay. And of course, the quality of those is also important. So by specialization, we can produce more, we can produce better things, and therefore the living standards rise. Okay. So that's been going on. So when you talk about self-governance, listen, I don't want to go back to living standards from 500 years ago. Okay. Even though, yeah, there's this romantic idea of, yeah, let's get a farm and just live on a farm, and let's let the chicken and the cow give us milk and eggs, and we're going to be happy just like the people in the past. Listen, this is unrealistic. The real living conditions back then were fucking brutal, harsh. Okay. Life expectancies of 36, 37. I'm serious. Up until 1850, up until 1850, you had a life expectancy of 45. 45. Here's a funny side note. Um, retirement covered by the government is a German invention, by the way, right? And it was invented on a Bismarck. Okay, Bismarck invented it I think in the 19th century. Okay. Rente is something that still exists today, all right? But it's called rente, and it means that when you retire, I mean, as you work, you pay into a pot. Okay, you pay money, a part of your income, into a pot, and then when you retire, you get you get some out of that pot every month. Okay, so it's basically social security type of stuff, all right? Now, here's the funny thing, all right? The average life expectancy back then was 45 years old. And they said that you can get money out of that pot once you reach 60, once you reach the age of 60. Okay. So this whole thing was a cash flow creator for the government. Okay. So that's where where the thing came from. And it's been adopted by other countries too. Okay. It's like mainly in Europe. But it's kind of funny, right? Where the beginnings of all of that are. Once again, the government just wanted more money. All right, because look, the government is always an idiot when it comes to economics. Always, the government is never good at that. Okay, and all those socialists out there and all these people that want to tax more, they have no clue where prosperity actually comes from. Okay, so back to your comment here. Listen, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to the living standards of 500 years ago where people self-govern. That's ridiculous, man. Self-governing people, that would mean that you have no central, or that you have no infrastructure, right? Because if people self-govern themselves, well, it's going to be a village of maybe 15 people or something like that. You got a farm, and that's it. So you got to produce everything that you need for a living yourself. How much time do you got a day? What kind of living standards is that going to be? Okay, say goodbye to all the nice food. Say goodbye to all the nice clothes that you can just buy. Say goodbye to all the heating, indoor plumbing. Say goodbye to that. Like, do you really want to live like that? Say goodbye to the internet. Do you really want to live like that? Say goodbye to technology, because even if you have technology, it's going to break down at one point. Okay, you need new stuff. So self-governance, I think people really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That means we're going to go back 500 years into the past. Do you really want that? Do you really want that? These are all interesting concepts. Really, see, these are all ideologies, just like communism or socialism or self-governance. You know, all of those are romantic ideologies that have very little to do with reality. The world is structured in a way for a reason. The world is structured the way it is for a reason. And the reason is this is the most efficient way that we found to live and to survive. All right. I don't want to turn back the hands of time. I don't want to die at 45. I don't want to have, I don't want to worry about dying if I have a cut. All right. I like indoor plumbing. I don't like, I don't like to go outside and shit in a hole. All right. That's weird, man. So, um, same thing here. Look, um, that's because they are content to work for someone else rather than all of us deciding to work for ourselves. Yeah, like working for yourselves would mean that you go back 500 years ago and back to the living standards of 500 years ago. Doesn't work. All right. Exactly. Great point. Separate the manipulated markets from the true economy. QE allows leveraging to continue. All politicians are parasites and are never working in our best interest. Monopolies have unfathomable power. That's why we only get two choices, which equals no choice at all. Yeah, I look, I understand where you're coming from. Okay, well, let me tell you something. All of your suffering, all of our suffering, the entire all of the suffering in this world comes from one thing, which is that people think in extremes. Okay, people think in extremes. People think in black and white. People think in positive and negative. People think in this left or right and all of that stuff. Okay, but that's not reality. If you look at reality, you will see that all of the universe is basically you have gradual progression in everything. You will never have extremes. That's not what the universe is like. Okay, everything is just a gradual thing. It has tendencies in this direction or in that direction, but you will never have um, a complete extreme. Okay, and this is why political discussions, for instance, never work. You will never come to a solution because people are too extreme. They try to put things into one category and other things into another, and that's not how reality works. You see, so we have to try to find realistic solutions. Okay, and realistic solutions means that nothing is 100% one thing and 100% this. Okay, just like the situation that we were discussing here, it's not 100% bad. It's not all bad. It has to have positive aspects. Why? Because nothing in this universe is just one thing. All right. So the same with politicians. I'm sure there are good politicians too. You know, all politicians are parasites. I look. We should stop talking in absolutes. all right, or in generalities. Generalities are furthest from the truth, actually. Okay, so as soon as somebody uses generalities, and I do that too. Okay, don't. I'm not messing with you here. All I'm saying is I do that too. But as soon as you state a generality, it's never true. It can't be. So monopolies have unfathomable power. Okay, well, another generality, but okay, I get it. I get what you're saying. That's true. What kind of business do you own? Thanks. I'm not going to tell you. But what's the next question? How much money do you have? You think I'm going to answer that? No. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to tell you. Would like to start a business, but don't know why. It's funny. You don't tell people what you do, how much you do, or how much you have, and all that stuff. Okay. Well, in two departments in Walmart, they boost to $16 to $18 per hour, which is good for regular retail job. Okay, wow. I was talking about both app and email. Okay. How rich someone can get using money spells and even involving spirits like viewers. Yeah. See, that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. If you look, you got to help the spirits to bring you that money. If you don't have the infrastructure, there's a limit, there's a cap to what can come to you. But if you have created the real infrastructure, which is what I was explaining in the beginning, there are very few limits to what you can make. All right. Look, using astrology, for instance, for stock investments would mean that you need the infrastructure. You first of all, I mean, you need an account with a certain amount of money in there, and you need to learn how to trade stocks in the first place. You got to understand astrology. You got to understand this other stuff. You need the right education, right? And then, boy, you can make a lot of money with that stuff. All right, but you got to create the infrastructure. You see, it's as above, so below. As above, so below. Think about it. Think as above, so below. So, how can you help the spirits bring you what it is that you want? You gotta think bigger. Okay, think bigger. What do you think about biotech stocks with the new vaccine? Personally, I'm putting money in Moderna, which has a target price of 185, maybe higher. Think about biotech stocks with the new vaccine. I don't have enough research on that. I don't know. Like I could tell you an opinion here, but that opinion is not going to be very solid. So I'm going to pass. Is the solar plexus and subconscious related? If so, how? Yes, they are. It's the main energy distribution. You only limit yourself. Don't be content with crumbs, but aim for steaks so you can throw them to those who you trust. Mattress. Okay. The one you mentioned that came before Warren Buffett. Yeah, I'm going to type the name into the chat. Gann. Um, white papers, transcripts. Interesting. Yes, that's actually a good idea. But I don't have the time to look. I'm really busy, so I don't have right now. That would be 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I don't have the time to sit there and type out what I was saying. That's and I'm not gonna let my assistant do that because that guy is already working a lot. Okay. Um, what is this? How can I get wealth and power? How can I get wealth and power? Look, I mean, define these things. What is power? Power is your ability to influence things. So you could say that your sphere of influence determines your level of power. Your sphere of influence is connected to your comfort zone in some way or another. Okay, so one thing that you could do to increase your level of power right now is to increase your comfort zone. It's your comfort zone. You know that they say knowledge is power? You know, that's it. Knowledge is power. Applicable knowledge, all right? But let's replace knowledge with understanding. Understanding is power. Once you understand something, you will see that everything in life is a process. Most people see things as static. They thingify things. Listen to how people speak. They thingify things, all right? They thingify it by talking about it. When you thingify something, you make it static, and when something's static, you can't influence it. However, when you develop a true understanding of something, you will always, 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 mark my word, you will notice that it is a process. It is not a thing. It is a process. And as a process, you can see and understand that it is something that you can manipulate. You can intensify it. You can lower it. You can redirect it. A process is a flow, you see. So when you develop the understanding of something, you will also develop the understanding of how to change it, how to manipulate it, and how to use it to your benefit. So, you want to develop power, the first thing that you should do is develop understanding. And understanding comes from a lot of data about a certain topic. So, you need knowledge first. You need knowledge, and then you have to apply. Okay, knowledge alone is not enough. You need the balls to fucking do what is necessary. All right. Um, what do I mean with balls? It means that you need the guts to do that. Okay, just to it's not that you actually need fucking testicles. What I'm saying is you need the guts, you need the courage, you need to uh, and consistently. You need to be comfortable in expanding your comfort zone. That's it. Health is always a priority. Yeah. I apologize in light. I had to see my husband off to work in the snowstorm. Okay, got it. Um, you just don't apologize. Everything is divine order. All right. That's cute. All right. I'm vegan. I'm vegan and I do watch what I consume. That's good. That's good. Thanks, Frank. Makes sense. I was wondering about the limits of the information the spirits provide to us. What stocks will go up, for instance? Is there something stopping spirits from telling us this? Um, Not necessarily, but look, when it comes to specific numbers, look, I mean, the problem with spirits is that they're communicating from a different dimension to you. Okay, communicating with different dimension from a different dimension, which is outside of space and time. So they give you kind of like timeless insights often. All right. Can you use them to let you know exactly what stock will be where and whatever? Yeah, but I don't think that's as reliable as using astrology to do that. Okay, because when it comes to stocks, we can actually use mathematics. Mathematics and astrology are really very much connected. Numerology is very much connected to that. So um, I think you will get better results by using astrology and doing that. And the limits to what the spirits can teach us is really about you, okay? The vessel. I promise you, man. I promise you, the limiting factor is always the magician. The magician is always the limiting factor. Magic has no limits, but it is the magician that has limits. So the magician needs to grow. Just like what I explained here. Magic, when you just do a spell to bring you $100 or something like that, yeah, you can do that, but that's a very low limitation that you put on yourself. When you increase your understanding of this whole thing and you understand what is necessary to provide the necessary circumstances for much more to come in, when you understand the key processes, by the way, wealth always has to do with leverage. You cannot get rich without other people's money. Trust me. Okay. Um, Even everybody says that, man. Everybody says that. So, leverage is the key. Okay. So why not use magic for that to increase your leverage, to increase the opportunities that you have to get leverage? You know? So look, once again, I don't say anything that is not well thought out and doesn't have a profound significance. Okay. So I want you to really, really take away what I'm saying here. Anything in life, when you understand it, is a process. It turns out to be a process. Everything in life, a process, different from of a fixed state. A process can be understood. It can be manipulated. It can be intensified. It can be downgraded. It can be redirected and brought under your control by understanding the key processes within that bigger process. All right. So when you affect the key processes in that bigger process, you will be able to use leverage in a magical sense. All right. So think about that. Think how you can use that. What is your opinion on investing in blockchain technologies? Yeah, I like blockchain. Yeah, I like the blockchain. When you say infrastructure, do you mean like creating another income stream as well as a job, like an online business, perhaps? The infrastructure means, yeah, it could mean that, but more than anything, it's about how you live. Do you have a daily routine? What do you do with your free time? Do you do you rather educate yourself or do you entertain yourself? Look, it all starts with you. Your life and what you bring into your life will be a reflection of yourself. It will be a reflection of you. What is you? Well, you, you can be defined by the actions that you do, right? What are the actions that you do on a daily basis, right? And we're all creatures of habit. So, what is your habitual MO, right? What are people going to catch you doing? If, let's say, for some reason you're by yourself and boom, a camera flicks on. Okay, what are they going to catch you doing? Are you going to watch porn, or are you going to study? Are you going to watch something educational? Are you going to look for opportunities to create more wealth for yourself, or are you going to watch the Joe Rogan experience? Yeah, are you going to like see? It's not rocket science, man. It's just small things that accumulate over time. Look at the today and what did you spend your time doing? What were the things that you were doing? An easy thing that you can do right away, and a for 1 week, just write down all of your activities. For 1 week, just write down all of your activities. Don't judge them. Just write down your activities. Okay. Monday morning, I did this. Blah 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 blah. And you go down from morning till night, till you go to sleep. You do that for an entire week, and then you're going to have basically uh, a schedule, right? And you're going to see how many of those activities are actually helping you and how many of those activities are not helping you. See, everything in life is about investment. Okay, let's define investment and expense. Investment means you put in something and you get more of that out. Okay, so it benefits you in some way or another. And expenses, you just put something out and you get nothing back. You can invest money, you can invest time, you can invest energy, you can invest all of that. Okay. So, and your attention, you only have a limited amount of energy a day. So where do you put that attention? Do you put that into studying something, or do you put that into entertainment? Entertainment is an expense. You're not going to get anything back from that. In fact, you're just making somebody else money. You're a consumer. You're being a consumer, right? You're right. Now, listening to me, I'm giving you concepts that are actually helping you. You understand? So this is an investment. So the time that you're spending listening to me is an investment because you're going to get way more back than you're spending your attention right now. But I'm upgrading your software. I'm upgrading your brain. I'm helping you. So this watching me is an investment. And by the way, if you wanna have a lot of prosperity in your life, you got to be somebody that gives people value. People should always have extra value from listening to you. They should always go away being like, wow, I never saw it like that. Wow, now I understand this. and watch what's going to happen in your life. I promise you. If you do that on a habitual basis, your life is going to transform really quick. I promise you. Okay, so be somebody that has a lot of immaterial assets, which is knowledge for the most part. Okay, knowledge or connections or something like that. But the point is this: you will have a schedule, and you will have a bunch of activities. Some of those activities are going to be expenses. Actually, when if you're like most people, 80% of your activities are going to be expenses, because food is also like an investment. You can eat food for pleasure, which is usually going to rob you of your energy later on. Okay, the better, there's a correlation. The better the food tastes when you put it into your mouth, the worse it is for your energy. A chocolate bar tastes very good, but it's not gonna feed your body energy. You're actually gonna feel worse later. So it takes energy from you. So it's an expense. Shows that you watch, okay? Shows that you watch. They give you a temporary buzz, but they're actually taking the time that you could put into something better. So if you're like most people, 80% of your expenses in terms of money, energy, attention, all of that are expenses. You're never going to get that back, and it's actually not serving you at all. You will have maybe a couple of them are actual investments where you maybe read 2 pages of this one book, or you maybe watched Frank White on on a live stream. Okay, so this is an investment. That's good. But then you have things that are kind of like in the middle, things that you have to do. You can't really help, like doing your laundry or washing your dishes or taking a shower. All of these things you got to do. So what you have to do then is you have to analyze. You have to see, okay, what are expenses? What is not serving me? And you have to cut that off. Get rid of that bullshit. So you will have more time that you can put into investments. You can study more. You can listen to more Frank White, which I highly recommend, of course. Yeah, and your life is going to get better. It's that simple. All right. It's all a reflection of you. You can't expect anything in your external world to change if internally everything is not aligned with what you want. You see. I was saying before, could you use radionics to amplify money magic? Look, radionics is just um, it's just a tool that you use to help the spells that you're doing anyways. So yeah, it can be used to amplify money magic. Of course, it can be amplified to improve love spells, but you're still not going to get the results, bro, because we're working with probabilities. We're working with probabilities. You understand? So in order to have more probabilities, or the probability, look, would you want to be able to do a spell that brings you 1 million, or would you want to be able to do a spell that brings you 100? Well, I guess you would want to do a spell that brings you 1 million, right? Right. Now, in order to be able to do a spell that could bring you a million, you gotta have the right infrastructure. Because if you otherwise do a spell like that, you don't have the right connections. You don't have a business that could bring you that kind of revenue. You don't have all of these things in place, so you're severely limiting your ability. So no amount of radionics is going to help you with that. That's why I'm teaching you about what you need. Look, bro,